We're all living on this giant rock that's in a constant state of motion, a rhythm so reliable we don't even feel it. But have you ever wondered what would happen if that perfect, constant spin just stopped? Let's dive into one of the most mind-bending thought experiments you can imagine. Right now, wherever you are, you feel pretty solid, right? The ground beneath your feet feels stable. You feel, well, still, anchored. But that feeling of complete and total rest, it's actually a massive illusion. Here's the wild part. The reality is, if you're anywhere near the equator, you are hurtling through space at over 1,000 miles per hour. That's faster than a commercial jet. We don't feel it because everything around us, the buildings, the trees, even the air, is moving right along with us. But that incredible speed, well, that's the key to our first huge problem. This whole thing comes down to a fundamental law of physics you probably learned in school, inertia. It's a simple idea, really. An object that's moving wants to keep moving. So if the Earth were to suddenly stop, everything on the Earth, including you, would want to keep right on going. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a car going 1,000 miles an hour and someone just slams on the brakes. You'd go flying forward, right? Now, apply that to the entire planet. The solid ground stops dead, but everything that isn't welded to the bedrock, we're talking buildings, oceans, trees, people, gets launched eastward at that same insane speed, basically scraping everything violently across the surface. And it wouldn't just be us either. The atmosphere, because of inertia, would keep right on moving. What you'd get is a global windstorm of over 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. That's faster than the speed of sound. A wind that strong would literally scour the surface of the planet, flattening pretty much every structure we've ever built. You know, the comedian Ron White had a great bit about hurricanes, saying the real danger isn't the wind, it's what the wind is carrying. Well, in this scenario, those supersonic winds would turn every loose object, cars, chunks of buildings, you name it, into high-speed projectiles. It would be a global blender effect, just chaos. And the nightmare doesn't stop with the wind. The oceans, still sloshing around, would surge eastward, creating mega tsunamis big enough to wash over entire continents. The sudden jolt would stress the planet's crust so much it would trigger unimaginable earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, literally ripping the world apart at the seams. And get this, all of that horror, that's just the first few seconds. If the Earth stopped spinning forever, that initial burst of violence would give way to a much stranger and even more permanent apocalypse. Without rotation, a single day would last an entire year. So for 6 months straight, one side of the Earth would face the sun, just baking until temperatures got hot enough to boil water. Meanwhile, the other side would be plunged into a 6-month night, a deep freeze with temperatures dropping to absolutely brutal lows. The actual geography of our planet would completely change. See, Earth's spin creates a slight bulge around the equator, and it pulls the oceans into that bulge. If the spin stops, that force is gone. The oceans would literally rush away from the equator towards the poles, creating two huge polar seas and revealing a brand new supercontinent wrapping all the way around the middle of the globe. But the most deadly long-term effect is probably the one you can't even see. Our planet's spin drives a dynamo of liquid metal in its core, and that's what generates our magnetic field, our shield. If that spin stops, the dynamo fails. Our protection against deadly radiation from the sun and space would just collapse. The surface would be left totally exposed and sterile. So, could anything survive this? On the surface, probably not. Most life would be wiped out. Our own bodies, our internal clocks, are wired for a 24-hour day. They just collapse. The only real hope might be for some deep-sea life near volcanic vents. Or maybe for a few desperate humans living as twilight nomads, constantly on the move, chasing that thin line between the scorching day and the freezing night. Okay, wow. After all that doom and gloom, let's just take a deep breath. Because here's the good news. This whole catastrophic scenario is purely hypothetical. It's a thought experiment. The same laws of physics that would cause all this chaos are the very same laws that make it pretty much impossible for the Earth to just stop. So,
Is the Earth slowing down at all? Well, yes, but at an incredibly tiny, tiny rate. The moon's gravity creates this thing called tidal friction, and it slows our rotation by about 1.4 milliseconds every 100 years. I mean, at that rate, it would take billions of years to stop, and by then, our sun will have already expanded and changed everything anyway.
Our planet's spin is fundamental. It's a leftover from the swirling cloud of gas and dust that formed our solar system billions of years ago. And thanks to something called the conservation of angular momentum, it just keeps going. Sure, it has slowed down over geologic time. 400 million years ago, a day was less than 22 hours long, but its motion is one of the most stable forces we know. If you found this exploration into planetary physics as fascinating as I did, and you want to get more knowledgeable videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel, Prime Event Decode. And hey, go ahead and hit that like button. So, the next time you watch a sunrise or see the stars wheel across the night sky, remember this impossible nightmare. It's a pretty powerful reminder that our stability, our climate, our very lives, they aren't built on stillness. They're built on a delicate and beautiful constant motion that, thankfully, we can always count on.